So this verse has been on my mind this morning, and I'm like, this is a hard one. You know that verse that goes, believers in humble circumstances ought to take pride in their high position. I was thinking about that a lot this morning. I'm like, why is that a high position? Why would anyone even want to be there? Especially if it's a place that's humbling, right? Like it's a place where you're just in a lowly spot where you're maybe thinking about yourself in not the best regard, in a lowly place, and life is just hitting hard. And yet in those moments, if I'm a believer, I'm ought to take pride in my high position. Like my position is high. I thought about the fact that we live in a world where it's focused a lot on me, right? I tend to think about myself a lot, or even how other people view me whenever I'm in a humble circumstance. But in reality, when I'm in that lowly place, it brings me to a spot where I have no other choice but to rely on God. I have no other option but to look to God and see what God wants. Trust in Him, trust in His goodness, trust in His faithfulness, trust that He'll pull me out of whatever circumstance I'm in, or He might just guide me through it and allow me to experience this thing so that I could grow and be more like Jesus at the end of the day. And that's not fun, but at the end of it all, I think about just the idea of, okay, well, I'll have a crown that lasts. So even as I was praying, I was just like, God, being in a humble circumstance is not fun at all. But every single time I've been in a humble circumstance, it's forced me to pray prayers that I don't usually pray. It's forced me to ask God for things that I don't usually ask for, and trust that He's going to provide in ways that I never even thought He could provide. And then I remember I got to a point in my prayer time where I was like, I need to be in a humble circumstance in order for me to rely on You and to ask for You to move and to come to You. Then I'll go after it time and time again. I'll be in that humble circumstance time and time again. It keeps me relying on You. And then I was like, maybe that's why it's worth it. Still hard, but maybe that's why it's worth it.